Commission for March 7th, 2024. Dan, will you lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
David Drake.
Here.
Dan Swafford.
Here.
Steve Hale.
Here.
Zach Michael. Pamela Samples.
Here.
Ryan Skaggs.
Here.
Pat Wazlowski.
Okay, the first item on our agenda is approval of the minutes for February 1st, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Recording in progress.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I forgot my little recorder. Motion carries. Monthly conflict of interest statement. Does anyone have a conflict of interest with anything that we're going to discuss on our agenda tonight? Seeing none. Old business, there is none. New business. First item of business is development plan approval for a car wash located at 4200 North Kemp Road. Petitioner J. Strauss, case number PC 24-08.
Good evening. We have several cases before you this evening for development plans and one preliminary plat. So to save time on development plans, I think you are all familiar with the criteria for approval by now. So when I have one that the criteria can't be met, then I will draw your attention to it. So before you is a request by Jay Strauss for development plan approval of a car wash. Subject properties located at 4200 North Kemp Road. The applicant is requesting approval of development plan to construct a car wash totaling 0.82 acres. Building is 7,430 square feet. Property is zoned C3 general commercial and the use is permitted by right. The business will be accessed from North Kemp Road but is adjacent to West State Road 46. The Tech Review Committee met on February 20th at Town Hall. Some items from Tech Review have been addressed and will be included in the conditions for approval. The following are the unanswered items from Tech Review, which resulted in some criteria not being met. Criteria H, adequate provision for green space and/or landscaping. The petitioner is providing landscaping along the east side of the property. During Tech Review, it was requested that the petitioner voluntarily include landscaping along West State Road 46. Petitioner responded that is a question for planning, no new trees or landscaping added. Criteria I, adequate provision for buffering to significantly reduce the visual impact of dissimilar developments. As in H, petitioner is providing landscape along the east side of the property. During Tech Review, it was requested that a petitioner voluntarily include landscaping along West State Road 46. Petitioner's response was that is a question for planning, no new trees or landscaping added. Tech Review is conducted approximately 2 to 3 weeks before the Plan Commission. Tech Review enables town supervisors to review the plans, ask questions, and address concerns about the projects. The petitioner then has a week to amend their plans if needed and provide answers to any questions they may not be able to answer during Tech Review. As you can tell from the photos, grading on the parcel has taken place, but a grading permit was not issued. After they were told to stop grading, I did give them permission to put gravel over the dirt and to fill in a low spot with gravel. In addition, some recommendations from the Tech Review meeting have been addressed and others have not. Additionally, it is staff opinion that the requirements of the development plan section from the town of Ellettsville Code of Ordinances can be reasonably achieved if certain conditions are met. And I'll move that along. Therefore, staff recommends Plan Commission approve the development plan with the following conditions being met prior to building permit approval. Written approval from Ellettsville Utilities that the water system requirements can be met. Submitting a grading permit application for approval and issuance of a permit. Landscape buffer along West State Road 46. Drawings of the physical address to be placed on the building, and provide information on the type of check valve to be used on the project. Petitioner is here if you have any questions. This is the site plan for the proposed project. And there's aerial view, the lot. So petitioner's here if you have any questions.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Denise? Seeing none, would the petitioner like to come up and say something?
Traffic right there is gonna be bad.
And please sign in on the sheet there and then tell us what your names are before you speak.
I'm Ken Blackwell. I'm the developer of Ellis Ridge, and this is Jay Strauss. He's the one buying and putting up the car wash. And I'm Jay Strauss. Yeah, we did when I sold Jay this lot in August, my deal with Jay was that I would get it footer ready, graded and ready for him to work. And the weather got us and we didn't quite have it done. So we went in there and just put the access road in, you know, to where you could, it goes between the two lots. And we went in there and used stone. We didn't move any dirt. We just used stone and filled it up with stone to get it shovel ready for him. So that was the work that we were doing on it when Denise asked us to stop. And I thought my grading plan took care of that, but since we had transferred the lot already, it needed to be in Jay's name. So that's, yeah.
About the car wash itself?
The car wash will consist of 4 automatic bays, we'll have 3 manual bays, self-service. The toothbrush to be able to handle the population that's here in Ellettsville, and there's going to be some car wash, some equipment put in there that's, you know, new to the area, and it's going to be properly maintained. We'll take care of the new staff on there on site all times, and also on camera. It'll be video watched. It's all monitored daily by the hour. So it'll be constructed out of a concrete block, split face block with a standing seam roof, and be landscaped properly to according to the guidelines of the city of Ellettsville.
Do you have any concerns about the fact that it's the entrance on Camp Road onto 46 is a right in, right out only?
Not really. I mean, our business, the car washing it's kind of an item that when people purchase it or they retail or they buy a car wash, it's pretty well made that people will get in and get out properly. I mean, it'd be ideal if there was, you know, a light there, would be the way we wanted to go, but it's not that much of a concern.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for the petitioner?
The landscape buffering, what was you're doing it all the way around or just on the
Just on the east side.
east side?
And I requested along 46.
Okay. What are you going to put along 46?
I was waiting for the requirements, what you guys would like for us to put there. I hadn't really seen exactly everything that was, the engineers had, but I mean,
Yeah, so when I request buffering, they say yes, and then after your approval, then we usually say, okay, this is what our tree list is, et cetera.
Okay.
I don't plan on putting any trees there that's gonna get height to them.
Right, that's what I was,
Anything to block views, we wanna keep it open as possible.
yeah, that's my concern too
Yeah.
with the,
We don't wanna do that, we wanna keep it open for ourselves too, so people can see our business.
Right, and pretty much all the businesses along 46 are opened up to the highway view, so. But
I just want to add a little buffering so it's aesthetically pleasing.
and you don't have a problem with that, just a little bit of buffering there? Okay. My main concern is the buffering between the residential lots there to the east. How much buffering's going to be there?
We had a mixture of trees and some shrubs and, sorry, I can't focus in, but on your page, in your packet, it looked like to me it was sufficient. I thought it was pretty adequate.
Does the wall go all the way down to the sidewalk, or does it stop before?
That's like a 2-foot wall just on the corner, and then the landscaping sets between the wall and the trees, existing trees. And as the developer, we plan on landscaping. We got a detention pond on the lot to the west, and we plan on landscaping that berm there where the pond is too. And it'll probably be with low-lying shrubs more than trees, you know, something that don't get any taller than 3 or 4 feet tall. And probably some bark mulch and stuff like that. And we'll try to carry that on through the 2 lots, all along 46 is our plans.
Does anybody else have any questions for the petitioner? Okay, what we'll do now is we open it up to public comment, and then you'll have a few minutes for rebuttal if you want to answer anything anybody happens to say, if anybody comes up. I don't know who all is here for what.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, thank you.
one other quick question, sorry. Do you have any issues with the requirements that we're gonna add on to this, that the tech review came up with?
No,
The 4 items here,
we're agreeable.
or 5 actually? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're ready for public comment on this petition. We give people 3 minutes apiece to make any comments that they would like to make. Is there anyone here to speak about this petition? Like the others, sign in and then tell us what your name is.
My name is Nick Burrell. I live on the residential property directly to the east of this car wash. So this is going to be in my side front yard area. So when I was looking at the plans, I didn't know how tall the retaining wall would be. But when I didn't think that the buffering was very adequate, given that this is, well, the other property, the other car wash, I only know of one that he owns, but it's 24/7. So there's going to be cars in that location all the time with headlights and everything else. And I would just like to advocate for a solid privacy fence to help block the views of the headlights onto my property and into my house, and also to just reduce to increase the privacy for my family. There's going to be a lot of people there. The vacuums are right beside my property line. There's just going to be a lot of people hanging out, cleaning their cars and stuff. And I just want to maintain the privacy for my children. So that's all I really have to say.
Anybody else for this petition?
Hello, good evening. Mark Dobbs, resident here in Ellettsville. So I guess maybe a question or comment on just sort of the traffic kind of piece to a lot of the development here. I know from, obviously, the right in, right out, right on 46 is a part of sort of the overall development plan for the whole parcels. Is there a timeline, I know from kind of from plats and from PUDs, a connection roadway that might connect over to the light that's on Centennial Drive? Or at what point does that get triggered, I guess, with a lot of the continued development with that?
I'm not sure what the status was. There was another connection from Kemp Road proposed, but I don't know what happened with that. I don't remember.
There's a connection, it goes out Ashbrook, and then they can travel from Ashbrook.
Okay. I was thinking there was a spot
On the backside.
for, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong development.
I think early on, there was, and then they met their 2 ingress and egress with Ashbrook Lane, opening that up.
Thanks. So the answer there is that we don't have one that goes to the east, and we can't really force that if there's not the property available to do it. There is another exit out the back through Ashbrook Lane that then leads back out to Deer Park Drive, unless someone wants to go all the way through Woodgate and then come back out on Centennial Drive, which
That's how they get to Centennial.
which I really doubt anybody's going to want to do. So if someone wants to patronize that business, they'll just have to learn to sit there and wait till it's safe to pull out, really, is all we can. I mean, we can't control, we really can't control that.
I understand. It really is a traffic safety. I'm not sure if it's state or city enforcement, but I mean, there's people that turn left out of that every single day, right onto 46 and causes kind of traffic safety concerns. So again, maybe it's an enforcement piece, maybe it's another piece, but I just wanted to ask those questions tonight. Yeah. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, would the petitioner like to come up for just a second and tell us what you think about the privacy fence? Tell us what you think about the potential of a privacy.
It's a good concern. I don't have a problem at all with it, like, I go in and I buy pine trees, big pine trees, we stagger in things to get a permanent wind barrier, and also a light barrier down here. You know,
My only thing is, like, so I don't know how tall the wall is going to be in that spot, of course, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to speak like this, but.
Not really, but go ahead.
Sorry. It's just, if it's at the base of a retaining wall, it's going to be many years until those are actually at, because your property is already higher than my property. You built it up higher than where my property sits. And so he's going to have to go inside the retaining wall and then up high enough to block car lines.
The grade that we have out there now is the 4 inches below the finished blacktop. So the parking lot will not be going higher, and the wall will be about 2 to 3 feet on the corner. That's the worst case. As it goes north, the wall gets smaller. But we're not opposed to putting trees. It's got a good row of trees there now that are up higher. So some, I'd say 5, 6, 7 foot pine trees, and try to get them to where the headlights are blocked with the pine trees. And Jay's not opposed to putting a.
We'll buy the trees all.
Yeah, and not only just as far as the visual aspect of it, what about sound? Or like the car washes, I know some can be much louder than others, or the vacuums like he was mentioning. I'm not sure how close the proximity is of his home, but if you have 6 vacuums going on the back of that, would a fence be a better option?
They're pretty loud. I don't know how much traffic you get at night.
The
Okay.
vacuums that's gonna be located closest to the residence they're not that loud. Now, the dryers on the car wash, which is inside the bays, and a lot of the time the doors are gonna be shut. Now, I'm not gonna say you're not gonna hear those dryers, because you are.
Yeah.
But the thing that's located closest to the resident's home is actually the vacuums. and they're not that loud. I mean, you're gonna hear it, they're not something that's really like a dog.
Okay, just so you don't have any problem with agreeing to put something that's adequate to block the headlights from shining at their house? Okay.
Well, I think maybe just to add on to that, adequate tends to be a very vague word. I don't know if it's something that we need to agree to now to whether it needs to be like a solid fence that would offer not only visual but sound deadening qualities, or if it's just going to be shrubbery that may not be as adequate. But
How do you want to word that?
Plan commission, I had my conditions, but the plan commission can also add their conditions as well.
Right, but how would you suggest we word that to be sufficient? Maybe that's a question for Darla, but,
So you're all in agreement, you want the 6-foot fence then?
well, I don't know about a 6-foot fence.
well, I'm sure there's also a large financial difference between a fence and then shrubbery. So I mean, that's an aspect you got to think of as well, so.
Yeah, he already has his landscaping on the east side. Do you want him to add
The area
more?
there, when you come out of the car wash and you're gonna be pointing toward his home, I mean, I wouldn't care if we wanted to do a fence there to block everything that's directly in line with his home. You know, rather that way we can run all the way to the road and all the way to the other end. It kind of, we'll run right to his home.
Would that be sufficient?
How high of a fence?
It can only be 6 feet.
So 6 feet that runs parallel,
To the residence? And then you're saying step it down, have it tiered down?
along, so it's going to be parallel along Kemp Road on the east side?
Well, it
No.
would be far east of.
East of the business.
Yeah, the east side of the business.
Okay, a 6-foot privacy fence that runs parallel along the east side of the business.
That would allow headlights to shine directly on
Yeah.
the residents to the east.
Probably be 40 to 60 feet is about what it would be. And a lot of times when we do these screenings, we'll do like an 8-foot section of fence, and then a big pine tree, and then another 8 feet. Just looks better than just a solid wall, but we're open to either or and whatever pleases the neighbor.
I think that's fair.
As long as you just stipulate the height and the length of the fence and where it's located, that should be sufficient. And then I guess you can leave it to him whether it's a solid fence or whether, like you said, he breaks it up, but that's a decision you could make too.
A little bit either way.
Leave it to the developer.
Kind of broke up a little bit,
Right.
have some decoration to it.
What about with the gentleman? Do you know the distance?
Do I know the distance?
Yeah.
From what?
What he's talking about, what would be adequate coverage for the residents?
Well, I mean, I would imagine we're all the length of the base. I mean, the length of the building, I don't really know. I don't really know what we're asking.
I think-
We're talking about the entire property line along that side?
No, I think the consensus would be whatever portion of your home there is. Is that what you guys are thinking? So your house would actually have a fence more or less the length of your home, and then it would taper down towards the roadway, as opposed to the entire length of.
Fine if it tapers as it gets closer to 46, that is fine with me. And I don't care if he interjects fencing and pine trees, it doesn't matter, I just want the sound buffering and also the headlight buffering, however that's achieved.
Yeah, and Nick, I think once we get open and we start pulling cars in and out of there, we can tell a lot more about the lights and, you know, we'll make it right.
And I don't know what your parking, I mean, I don't know what your lights are, just like for the whole area, you know, your aerial lights to shine down on your parking lots and stuff. The ones that are over the apartments are great, they don't bother me at all, but I don't know how these are going to be situated.
They have to meet certain conditions that shine down and not away from their property. Okay, so do we need to say something more about this as far as defining what we're saying?
I think you're going to cover it with a fence that's 6 feet high, that runs parallel along the east side of the business, and that's 40 to 60 feet long.
Okay. Okay. Any more questions for the petitioner? Okay, do we have a motion? And our motion would be.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
Following 6 conditions.
Yeah, I'll make your motion,
Following
yeah.
6 conditions, including the 5 conditions from the technical review committee and the additional condition about the fence on the east side of the property. So I will make that motion,
Second.
including that, for a approval of the development plan.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in, roll call.
David Drake.
Yes.
Dan Swafford.
Yes.
Steve Hale.
Yes.
Pamela Samples.
Yes.
Brian Skaggs.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is preliminary plat approval for 17 single-family residential lots in the Prominence Fields Phase 3, case number PC 24-11.
Thank you. This is a request by Value Built Construction for consideration of primary approval for the Prominence Fields Phase 3 subdivision preliminary plat. Subject property is located north of West Upland Drive and parallel to North Loudon Road to the west. The applicant is requesting preliminary plat approval for a total of 17 single-family lots totaling 8.29 acres. Lots are zoned R1, single-family residential, and will be built with single-family homes. Subdivision will be accessed from North Zoe Way. Lots will meet all size and dimensional requirements of a variance granted by the Board of Zoning Appeals on December 13th, 2023. The variance allows for a reduction of the minimum lot width to 50 feet and minimum lot square footage to 8,500 square feet. New infrastructure will be constructed to town requirements. Tech Review Committee met on February 20th at Town Hall. All items that came up during tech review have been addressed. A letter of credit will be required to cover any outstanding items prior to recording of the final plat. It is a staff opinion that the proposed plat will meet all required zoning and subdivision regulations, and there are no significant concerns with the proposed plat. This section will be parallel to North Loudon Road and will continue to spur development in that area. Therefore, staff recommends that the Plan Commission approve the preliminary plat for Prominence Fields. Both petitioner and petitioner's engineer are here if you have any questions.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Denise? And basically, this is just a continuation on of the same Prominence.
That's
development.
correct.
And it's all open field.
Correct. There's a picture.
It's beautiful.
Any questions? Oh, come on, Dan, surely you've got the You'll come up with it here when we're
I'm
about
gonna wait
done.
till you start talking and
Yeah.
interrupt you.
Okay, does the petitioner want to say anything? And once again, sign in and tell us who you are. You look familiar.
Here quite a bit. AJ Willis, Vine and Fanny and Associates. I'm the project engineer for this project. I just piggyback off Denise. It's a 17-lot subdivision that's just continuing from the previous phases. We're going to implement 3 water quality detention ponds in the northwest and southwest corner of the site, and then also the east part of the site. Gravity sanitary sewer will connect to Phase 1 and Phase 2 of Prominence Fields, and storm sewers will outlet to these proposed water quality ponds. But that's pretty much it, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there any runoff from this development expected onto any adjoining property?
There will be, just because of our discharge points, but they're going to be reduced to 0.25 CFS for the 10-year storm event and 0.45 CFS for the 100-year storm event.
So there won't be any additional runoff?
Yes, there's no increase.
Okay, anybody have any questions for the petitioner? Seeing none, we might have you back. We'll see what everybody else has to say.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak to this petition? Okay, seeing none, do we have a motion? I'll let somebody else make this one, it should be simple.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call?
David Drake.
Yes.
Dan Swanton.
Yes.
Steve Hale.
Yes.
Pamela Samples.
Yes.
Brian Skaggs.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is development plan approval for a maintenance and office building located at 901 North Guy McCown Drive. The petitioner is the Town of Ellettsville Department of Public Works, case number PC-24-09. I say we vote this one down.
Yeah. I just can't recommend approval for this at all.
Okay,
Now I'm now unemployed. This is a request by the Town of Ellettsville Department of Public Works for development plan approval of a maintenance building. The subject property is located at 901 North Guy McCowan Drive. The applicant is requesting approval of a development plan to construct a building for the Department of Public Works, which will house a maintenance building and offices for the Department of Public Works, Utilities Billing Office, and Town Administrator. The building is approximately 24,000 square feet on 4.60 acres. Property is zoned C1, Neighborhood Commercial, and the use is permitted by right. Business will be accessed from West McCowan Drive after exiting from West State Road 46. They will be making a pretty wide turn out here, so it will be widened where it comes down and turns there, and onto North Guy McCowan Drive. Development plan meets the minimum requirements of the Ellettsville Town Code, and tech review comments have been addressed. Staff is of the opinion that the requirements of the development plan section from the Town of Ellettsville Code of Ordinances have been reasonably achieved. Staff recommends the Plan Commission approve the development plan. Representative for petitioner, the engineer, and the architect are also present to answer any questions.
does anybody have any questions for Denise about this? Does the engineer want to say anything? You again.
So like Denise said, the new entrance is going to be coming from back here. We've widened that curve so trucks can make it around that curve. And then, so at where you're entering the site, right in front of the building, we're splitting the drive so that truck traffic can be divided from customer traffic into the parking area. There'll be 40 total parking spaces for customers and employees. There'll be 3 water quality detention ponds to reduce the runoff from the site. So the building includes office space and then 6 garage bays, and then on the north and west side of the building will be a fenced gravel area for storage and for truck parking when they're loading and unloading equipment, stuff like that. And then we're going to add some privacy slats on the back of the salt barn and cold storage, which that's going to buffer from the trail system that will be going in the future. But let me know if you have any questions.
So how far away is the building going to be to any residences to the north?
I don't know the distance off the top of my head, but it's pretty, yeah. So the building will be pretty much right out there.
And it's almost directly east of this Smithville building. I mean, there's a lot of space in between there, but it doesn't back up near any residences from along 46, so.
Correct.
Anybody else have any questions for AJ?
Were we putting the utilities billing in here, Mike?
Yes.
Surprised we didn't put up a drive-up window to pay the bills.
There's a building, yeah, Dropbox on the front.
You mean, is the utilities office going to be moved there, or just the water and sewer?
Well, I was thinking the utility billing department, so like where they pay their bills for water and sewer and everything.
Yes,
And that will be at this new building, correct?
correct, along with the town administrator and DPW will also have their own offices.
So the utility bills won't be paid at this building anymore?
Correct, they have a
But
Dropbox
there
on the
will-
front, but I don't know if there was a drive-through.
Is there a drive-through drop box?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically the same as what we have now. Okay, any more questions?
Yes,
From-
I have one.
Okay.
When do you think this will be done?
That's the goal, Christmas.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you coming up for the next one too?
No, his work here is done.
Okay, is there anyone from the public that wants to address this petition?
Hi, my name's Jeff Shunn, and I live down here on 1220 West Grant Street, the old John Ball house, for those of you who remember John. And my question is, the vehicles that are coming in and out of here are going to be large trucks, right? Yes? Yes. Okay. Are you going, those large trucks are going to be getting on and off on 46? Correct? Okay, those things don't move as fast as a small SUV or a car. Are you going to do anything to make that intersection and traffic safer for the inevitable increased traffic that's going to be generated by this building back here?
Well, I'm not sure what the speed limit is there, but isn't it, it's not a 35, yeah, so.
Turn lane in the middle, I believe.
Yeah, so I don't really see it causing an issue with the trucks coming in and out. We have maybe, what, 8 total? So, and those trucks probably won't be all coming in and out at the same time.
Okay.
So I really don't think there'll be an issue.
Okay.
Typically they go out, stay out all day and then come back.
Right.
And they do go in and out continually. As you notice, we're doing quite a bit of work for our parks and log cabin and stuff. And so they do travel in and out of here now quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned that the speed limit is 35.
Right.
Hard pressed to see any vehicles go 35 up through there. Very hard pressed. Am I wrong? Anybody? Yeah, okay.
And, you know, that's an issue, it really is, and we've addressed it the best we can. And we are working on other things too to help look into that, but,
The
you know.
police department sits right there and
Yeah.
split quite a bit and monitors traffic and it's, I mean, there are certain people that do go fast, but the majority of the traffic is going around 35 or 40.
I beg to differ.
And NDOT.
I live right there, I beg to differ.
Well, unless you've got radar certified eyeballs, it's kind of hard to tell really from just looking at the car.
Okay, then I'm gonna say, how can you say they're going 35?
Because I sit there a lot with radar and watch the people go
You
by.
do, okay, okay,
Dave's a police officer, by the way.
okay, okay.
And NDOT sets the speed limit, not the town.
Right. I'm not saying certain people don't speed through there, but the majority of the traffic is not going at probably as fast as you think.
Mostly because I know Ellettsville PD is probably gonna be sitting there.
Right, there's a police car there a lot.
Time's up.
Okay.
And I'll just say too, I understand your concerns. We have a lot of that all over the town. And unfortunate, I mean, we just have so many, we're growing. It's just hard to maintain speed limits everywhere. And, you know, I don't know what we could do, put a stop sign up there, then people are gonna run that and it'll cause more wrecks. So I sympathize with you, but
I'm just concerned about the increased
sure.
slower moving vehicles trying to pull in and out of there.
Well, if
What that's
anything, it
gonna
might
do
help.
when those cars are speeding.
Right.
up
It
through
might
there.
help a little bit with the big trucks coming in, that maybe people will start slowing down a little bit, but who knows?
Okay,
Either that or they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
they're gonna lose. All right, thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? You're not really public,
Am I not real public? Can I speak?
I guess.
3 minutes, Kev.
I'll make it a minute and a half. How's that? Kip Eddy, Street Commissioner. I get what he says about probably the traffic, but for the most part, our crews come in at 7:30 in the morning. The crews will go out, and more than likely, they'll be out most of the day. If they were to come in, it'd be around lunchtime to come back in. Be the same way with the dump truck. It won't be constant traffic in and out. So for the most part, the guys come in the morning, they go out and work pretty much the whole day, then they come back in. As far as deliveries, I can't really speak for the utility building down there because I'm not down there as much. I'm down there a little bit. But as far as deliveries, freight deliveries, they're probably a little far and few between. I mean, I think they get a few meters every now and then, maybe some pipe every now and then, but I don't see a big, large increase of dump truck traffic like that. It'd be mostly service trucks, maybe a truck with a trailer, and then, of course, office people like myself or Jay or something like that. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Would it be NDOT that would do like signage, you know, to put like large trucks incoming?
Yeah, we have to ask them to do it. Okay. Seeing no further public comment, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve PC 2409 as a whole.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
David Drake.
Yes?
Dan Swafford. Yes. Steve Hale.
Yes.
Pamela Samples.
Yes.
Ryan Skaggs.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is development plan approval for a student activity center at Edgewood High School. Case number PC-24-06.
This is a request by Richland Bean Blossom Community School Corporation for development plan approval of a student activity center and parking lot. Subject property is located at 601 South Edgewood Drive. The applicant is requesting approval of a development plan to construct a student activity center and parking lot. There will also be some renovation in the building and some areas of demolition, but that'll be approved through a building permit. Building is approximately 23,000 square feet on 1.4 acres. Property is zoned R1, single-family residential, and the use is permitted by right. The addition will be accessed from South Edgewood Drive and West Edgewood Drive. Tech Review Committee met on February 20th at Town Hall. All items have been or will be addressed in the near future. Staff's opinion is that the requirements of the development plan section from the Town of Ellettsville Code of Ordinances have been reasonably achieved. Staff recommends approval of the development plan.
So I'm just a little bit confused from the drawing. Is this going to eliminate that whole parking lot on the, what is it, west side of the building?
Let's ask Mr. Rieger to come up and speak to that. My drawing tried to match their plans, so I may be a little off on the measurements.
Good evening. I'm Bill Riggert with Blutzel Riggert Cooper James, and with me tonight is Dr. Jerry Sanders with the School Corporation, Misha Bilov with Lancer Architects, and Kenton Purdue from our firm. He's another civil engineer. The Student Activity Center is an addition to the west side of the high school. So it will go out into that parking lot, and then a new parking lot will be constructed to the west on that practice football field, and will maintain a drive then for circulation around the Student Activity Center on the west side.
So if that's this west side, there's also a drive that goes around the south side and then connects up to the drive at the football field. Will that still be?
Mustang Drive? Yes,
Right.
that will all stay intact.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That was my only question. Does anyone else have any questions while he's up here? Okay, don't see him. You're lucky.
Sure. Well, maybe I can add a couple things.
Okay.
You know, the parking lot is to take, the new parking lot makes up for the loss in parking spaces for the building. The Student Activity Center creates a space for a new cafeteria within the high school. So there are improvements inside that this frees up some space for that. And we've got some landscaping for black gum trees to go on the west side by the neighborhood. We do have detention, underground detention with treatment. And I think those were the main points I had for you guys.
What does the Student Activity Center consist of?
Well, I might ask Misha to tell me, but basically there's some basketball courts. I think they've got a setup for a tennis court, volleyball, maybe a little track. Well, and here's Misha and Dr. Sanders, so they can chime in.
Answer that question. I got a second you can answer as well. Is this designed to increase the overall population of the students? Are we moving basketball courts to the new area to be additional basketball courts, or are you going to restructure the school to accommodate a higher number of students total?
So this addition is not designed to increase the student capacity of the school. It's just the existing cafeteria space is just grossly undersized for the student population that's currently there. So what the interior renovations are looking at is taking over the auxiliary gym space to put the new cafeteria and the kitchen into that space, and that prompted us to build an addition to make up for the lost gym spaces themselves. And the Student Activity Center is going to be composed of 2 full-size basketball courts, as well as a kind of an additional space that's large enough for a tennis court. That's not going to be regulation size, but it's going to be used for the students during the kind of when it's raining outside or anything else. There's going to be also a walking track around those courts, and also kind of a batting nets that can come down, as well as volleyball nets that can come down. There'll be limited bleacher seating inside of that space for any basketball games, even though the intent is for the majority of the basketball events to still happen at the main gym itself.
Jerry Sanders. So the current auxiliary gym is simply not big enough. We can't have any, or we have a limited number of spectators. If we have a junior varsity game going on or wrestling, there's just not enough room for spectators. And then for me, it's also a safety issue because There's not much space between the basketball court and the walls, so, obviously, students can't stop on a dime when they're running down the court, and so this will provide much larger space. And with any of our facilities that we build, we try to do so with the thought in mind of how can we maximize that space. So it could be used by as many students and as much of the day and evening as possible. And so the new Student Activity Center will include 3 basketball courts and a multi-purpose area. And like Misha said, we'll have volleyball nets that could come down from the ceiling, tennis nets, baseball, if they could play baseball or softball in there in terms of just practicing hitting. And then the track around the courts. And once again, we would like to see band, winter guard in there practicing, as many students as possible. And then the side benefit, which is a real need, is our kitchen has just never been expanded. For the high school, I think it is the smallest kitchen of any of our schools, and so that very much needs expanded, and also the cafeteria. So there are multiple needs that we are addressing with this particular construction project.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any more questions before this? Okay, don't see any. Thank you. Thank you. Is there any public comment on this petition? Sign in and tell us your name.
Hello, my name's Roger Floyd, and I live right behind the practice football field. So I'm just curious, how big is the parking lot? And will there be some type of barrier for all the headlights in the evening? Because my bedroom faces right there.
Okay, we'll let the engineer answer that. Sure.
I don't know if I can tell you dimensionally. I guess I could. 130 and 150 feet long, 150 feet this way off the drive, plus I'd say
So
another.
is this the cul-de-sac?
No, that's the house, the back end.
That's what I
of the
mean, the
house.
back end of the house.
Yeah.
There's that cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
It'll back up.
So it's about 36 feet away from that house.
Okay. So, and what about the rest of the practice football field?
It's going to remain for practice activities. Yeah. So we've got quite a bit of room up there yet.
Okay. Yeah. My kids and grandkids all play out.
Well, they still can. I think there's all kinds of room for them. Yeah.
Only that bottom portion, it's like that one lot on Hickory Court.
Okay.
I will say, the school does have plans to put in a multi-use path on that side where the parking lot is, and to continue their trail system.
One of the complaints I often receive are from maybe some of our senior citizens who have to walk a longer distance from where they park to an event at the football complex. And so I think moving this parking lot up really next to the football complex, the entrance to it, that will help with some of those complaints and the senior citizens who don't have to walk as far. And yeah, we are definitely interested. We want to be good neighbors, so I haven't done it yet, but it's part of my plans to go and talk to our neighbors right in that section and just hear from them and get some feedback on their concerns. So I appreciate the words that were shared tonight.
I guess I have a comment. I don't know what time's a good time to mention it, but as far as, I have 2 kids in the Edgewood school systems now, and so I guess as a parent, my worry is more classroom size. You know, with all the additional, we keep adding homes and we're generating apartments and all this additional people coming into Ellettsville. I guess as much as it's important to have walking tracks and activity centers and whatnot, I just wonder if we're adding like classrooms that will be able to accommodate the growth that we're looking to see in Ellettsville in the next 5 or even 10 years.
That is a great question, and is one that we are definitely having a lot of conversations about. The challenge always is trying to time out when that growth is going to happen and when you have the funds to add on to the classrooms. And you know, we had a demographic study done a couple years ago, which showed a small but steady growth, not one that would not be manageable. And so, based on that study, we are planning with our next set of construction bonds, which will be about 2025, 2026 school year, that'll be top priority, is addressing the classroom space. Now, as far as this next project we're going to talk about, if that gets approved tonight and we move forward with that, then that'll free up some space in Edgewood Primary School, with the preschool moving to a new location. So we are monitoring that. You know, Monroe County is, I always like to say, we are really blessed with educational opportunities. And there are a lot of educational opportunities for parents in our community. And back in the day when I was a principal, I knew that 99% of the children in my area were coming to my school, but now there are so many options. So it doesn't always mean that a house automatically means that they're going to be coming to Edgewood. Now, we hope they do, and we work very hard to attract them, but we're watching that.
Brought that up is it wasn't that long ago, we just approved the planning for, was it 200 to 300 residences that are going to be just west of the school? Yeah, at the Harmon Farm. So I would imagine those 200 to 300 residential that are going to be nicer, higher end homes are probably going to be 80% families. Yeah. And I mean, those children are, I would think those would have to be Edgewood.
Right. So
the majority
like I said,
of them at least.
The plan is for, we want to take care of some of our bigger needs. We had a facilities study done in 2022. And believe me, there were more needs than there was money. Mm-hmm. And so we thought we would take care of some of these projects now. And then, like I said, timing is everything. So time the next construction bond projects to focus primarily on classroom spaces wherever the need might be at that time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we're okay.
One more guy.
I'll be quick, I promise. Mark Dobbs, resident here in Ellettsville. So I think a couple of questions were answered. So I applaud the school district for kind of their outlook and obviously creating flexible space for the growth going on in Ellettsville with this. And I have 3 kids, so full disclosure, my oldest son plays on the Ellettsville football team. So question there is just from the parking and sort of the practice field area, is this a you know, as we remove parking and kind of add parking, I assume it's kind of a yield, or it doesn't really grow the parking area, right, for what needs to maybe, it's always kind of congested, right, during big events. And then 2, just on the practice area, and I think I heard this, it still allows flexibility, right, for additional football and other youth sports practice still in the area. So those are my questions.
You come back up here and help. Sure, understand your question.
Yeah.
One was on congestion.
Yeah, just for overall parking. So does it yield less parking than there is now? Is it kind of a wash for what it is?
It's a wash.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
that
right.
answers that, okay.
Now, we are looking at other space to around the football field where we could utilize some of that space for what we would be missing from taking part of the practice field for the parking lot.
Gotcha.
So they're beyond the football field.
Was that it?
I think that's it. And then, yeah, the same practice area, there's still space there, it's gonna be available for
Yes.
youth sports, yeah. So all good?
Well, definitely for esports, yeah.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Dr. Sanders.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve PC 2407, I'm sorry, 06 in its entirety.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call.
David Drake.
Yes.
Dan Swafford.
Yes.
Steve Hale.
Yes.
Pamela Samples.
Yes.
Brian Skaggs.
Yes. Have we been looking at Zoom to make sure no questions have been?
I looked at that chat.
Okay, last but not least, development plan approval for an early childhood center for Richland Bean Blossom Community School Corporation at 7710 West Reeves Road, case number PC-24-07.
This is a request by Richland Bean Blossom Community School Corporation for development plan approval of an early childhood center. The subject property is located at 7710 West Reeves Road. Applicant is requesting approval of a development plan to construct an early childhood center and parking lot for Richland Bean Blossom Community School Corporation. The building is approximately 33,094 square feet on 5.5 acres. Property is zoned R1, single-family residential, and the use is permitted by right. The addition will be accessed from West Reeves Road. Tech Review Committee met on February 20th at Town Hall. All items have been addressed or will be addressed before grading permit. So on this one, I have criteria that wasn't met. It's criteria D, which addresses the capacity of adjacent streets to ensure they can safely and efficiently accommodate the additional traffic generated by the development. I had a difficult time with this item. Included in the original packet was an emergency access road, and I'll get to that. That was the original access road, which the fire department did not approve. Then earlier today, the fire department approved emergency access road, which is this plan, and it was shortened. Fire Chief Kevin Patton is present, and he can explain his approval of the emergency access road if you need him to. And it's in your packet, the amended page. So you have both original and the amended to compare. So then what I have, my remaining difficulty is there are 113 parking spaces for parents to park while dropping off their children. Of course, they won't all arrive at the same time, but it still puts additional traffic on Reeves Road, which already experiences backups of a morning. At my request, the street department conducted a traffic count from February 26th to March 1st, and that is in your packet, and there it is. I'm requesting the Plan Commission's assistance on how to resolve criteria D, or you can consider criteria D as it is and approve the development plan as well. So I guess what I'm wanting to do is open a discussion about the traffic on West Reeves Road.
Time for a roundabout.
You got big bucks. Okay, were you done?
Yes.
Okay.
I just had a difficult time because it's not supposed to put any more pressure on adjacent streets, the criteria, so that's what I had a difficult time with, because I know from complaints it's already congested on West Reeves Road.
And
But didn't we just put more pressure on 46 from Kemp Road.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we need bigger streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said the,
But in addressing the criteria, it was just
Right.
a problem, because I knew we were adding
It's,
more.
that's supposed to be on our shoulders.
Mhm.
You just pointed out.
Yes.
Okay, so,
Oh, Steve started that.
yeah. You said there was only 113 parking spots?
Yes, it's.
Do you know what the, like how many children it's supposed to accommodate? Because if you take 113 minus staff, that's going to probably cut it down to 70 or 80. And I know anytime one of my kids has had something, people are parking in the grass and sidewalks and everywhere else because they run out of spots, but.
Correct. So this will be a standalone building, so children won't be going back and forth between buildings. And it's my understanding all parents will be dropping off their students, and you won't have any buses going through. Oh, okay. But do you want to come up, Dr. Sanders? He's asking how many students you plan on accommodating.
So a preschool is different than a traditional school. So for example, with the EPS and EIS, there are approximately 1,200 students between the two schools that are all arriving at the same time, either on buses or parents bringing them in. So any school that I've ever been associated with, at arrival and dismissal times, there are transportation issues. So with the preschool, though, not all students will come at the same time. So the new preschool will have, right now we have approximately 100 in our preschool. We'll double that size, so it'll be about 200, but all 200 are not coming at the same time on the same day. So a preschool, parents can choose for their children to come every day, all day. Depending on the classes, they could choose to do 3 full days, 2 full days, 2 half days. So it really depends on the needs of the families. And so, in my opinion, I really believe the new preschool will have a minimal impact on the crowded situation that we do have. I do admit that it is an issue that we have and are continuing to work on. We work on making sure that we get as many families off the road into the parking lot and get that. We have a system that we've modified over the years to be as efficient as possible to move that traffic. And we are very much interested in expanding Sycamore Street to the new development in Harmon Farms. And if that could be accomplished, then we could have families to the west of, on 46, to the west of the corporation coming in from that direction and be on Sycamore Street and take some people off of Reeves Road. So we're going to be addressing that issue. And as we get in, the question was asked earlier about the classroom space. As we look at the next project, as we are growing and developing and we're building more space, that would be something we would have to address really in the next construction bond as we consider expanding classroom space.
Can I add something?
Sure.
So I met with Chris Smith this morning, the developer of Harmon Farms, and he told me he's willing to build that connection on Sycamore Drive to the school. So he told me he was coming to your March or April meeting. He didn't know which, your board meeting.
Yeah, we've already had conversations with Chris, and we've had a couple school board members give their input on expanding Sycamore Street. So there are just some details we would have to work out, but I don't think that's nothing that's insurmountable. So I think we're most likely, being realistic, would probably be at the April board meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Sanders while he's still in here? Okay, thank you. Kevin, do you want to tell us about the other access?
Sure. Good evening, Kevin Patton, Fire Chief with the Ellettsville Fire Department. Can you flip back to the drawing with the, yes, thank you. The concern we have with the new construction is behind the primary and intermediate, we have access to get to 2/3 of the building with emergency apparatus. Then we added the kindergarten center, and there's no access to the west side or the north side of the building, no roadways. And then when this proposal come on with no access to the rear of the building, it was a concern. So during the tech review, we did talk to the engineering firm, and they came up with a proposal for literally a green roadway. They are used in areas. The concern we have with those, it's basically a reinforced grid system that grass can go through, and you don't even notice the road unless you know it's there. Those are very handy in a lot of areas. The concern is you can't maintain them very well in the wintertime, and I have trouble pulling a $2.5 million fire apparatus and 70,000 pounds into the grass. It's a concern. So we met back with them and asked them to change that to an asphalt. And the concern with that is the school, like Dr. Sanders indicated, has a desire to add on eventually to this, because of the growth, to the north out of this building. So in essence, we're looking at asking them to put in a blacktop road for emergency services around this back to the parking lot. And the issue, like I said, the issue is the cost for the roadway, knowing in 4 to 6 years you're going to tear it all out. So I'm not unsympathetic about that. So the option we came up with was doing a road just around the back covering this new project. So in essence, cutting it in half. And I'm fine with that. That covers the new facility. It does get us closer to the back of the kindergarten section and the west end of the existing buildings. While it's not perfect, it is acceptable for the Ellettsville Fire Department to just do this. That's pretty much on the access road. I do have a comment on the Reeves Road section, if you have any questions on this part first for me.
So will this be asphalt then, this little?
Yes, it has to be a hard surface. I am fine. They can put a substantial gravel base down, and then they can either do a base coat or a binder coat. That's above my level. I'm not a road engineer, but I am fine with that. I don't need curbs, box culverts, striping, anything like that. I'm just looking for an access road that I can get emergency equipment back there. If the engineers can ensure that that will support, the apparatus, I'm not sure if that would do it, but I'm sure the town street commissioner said that probably a binder coat would work. There again, I'm not sure what the difference between a binder and a base coat is, but he seems to think that would probably take care of it.
So I assume this will be blocked off so that just anybody can't drive back there and then park on it? And
I would assume so. We're fine if they want to put a lot of them, they'll just put a single bar gate across it. with a very inexpensive padlock on it, because I'm not going to look for a key. I'm just going to go for the bolt cutters. So I'm perfectly fine with if they want to do something like that. Just something to detour traffic back there.
And so the reason is we're not connecting the two right now is just because of cost, or is it just not feasible to connect into the?
From what I understand, it's feasible to do, but probably half of the road that they put in now is going to have to come out for the new project. So obviously the school system and the fire department are competing for the same dollar, so I don't see any point in putting a whole bunch of money in blacktop that's going to be coming out in 3 or 4 years. And this will take care of the immediate need. Obviously, if it went all the way through to the parking lot, that's the best, because then I don't have to try to back out of there should we go back there. But it's perfectly acceptable for us to have just the half road.
And of course, my thought too was to kind of alleviate some of the traffic on Reeves if it could connect down to Sycamore, but that sounds like that's in the work later on, right?
Yes. One of the concerns we had, which is not a cause of the school, it's just, I think it magnifies it, but just the whole area is developing quite a bit. And as you're aware, Sale Street all the way out is very busy. The issues we run into is traffic a lot of times will back up from the school systems all the way back to Thomas Road. And the area from Thomas all the way to Sycamore, there's drainage ditches on both sides of the road. So there's really no place for vehicles to be able to pull off the side of the road. A squad car, an ambulance doesn't have too much trouble getting down through there, but it's very challenging for a large fire apparatus to traverse that. Obviously, there are other ways we can go in around to that, but you're going to add 3 to 4 minutes response time. When we're not able to get there, that creates a delay not only down Loudon Road, Reeves Road, to the school system, but the junior high, Mustang Drive, the senior area. So, like I said, I'm not saying, I don't believe this project should be held up because of the Reeves Road, Thomas Road area, but I would like the board to take that in consideration as the area continues to grow, that it's definitely something that needs to be looked at.
Yeah, and I've been getting a lot of complaints from neighbors through there that live on that road, and I just don't know what the answer is. I mean, obviously, a 4-lane right through there would be awesome.
Sure, it's going to be an expensive repair. I do believe that with the Harmon Farm project and the school being able to connect the existing Sycamore all the way through the highway, I believe that will help a lot. I'm going to talk with the town marshal and see if maybe the school and the school system and the town marshal can maybe get together and look at some possible traffic pattern changes. That may have already been done, but it might be worth just revisiting, because even taking 10% of off
right,
or redirecting, I think would help.
Has there been talk of the roundabout? I know you stated earlier the roundabout at Reeves and Loudon.
I don't think that's going to fix the problem, because the issue is there's no place for them to go when they get to their destination. And it happens a couple times a day, drop off and pick up. The road is very busy all day long, but it seems to manage itself with the stop sign. But obviously at pick up and drop off, there's a lot of parents running up through there, and there's just no place for them to go is the problem. So even if a roundabout, they're just going to do a Clark Griswold and drive around circles. Yeah. Any other questions for me?
Yep, anybody got any more questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
May I speak to some of that?
Sure.
Yes.
First of all, I want to thank Kevin. One thing I'm proud of, to be able to live in Ellettsville is because of the great relationship that we have, the school corporation has with the town council, the police department, fire department. And so I appreciate it. You know, my assistant superintendent and I, we went down and met with Kevin and shared some information that we had. And we also tried to be good listeners because, like I said, we want to be good partners and support the fire department and what they think our greatest needs are. A part of that is we do provide bus transportation for all students, kindergarten through 12th grade. And maybe we could look at, we try very hard to promote students riding the bus. We do different activities to do that. And maybe we could do that a little bit more. Maybe we could survey our parents and see what it would take. But a lot of parents are choosing to bring their children to school because of their own personal needs, maybe when they have to be at work, maybe they want to spend some more time with their children. And so you always have parents who are going to want to bring their children to school. Once again, my own personal opinion too, as the housing addition across from the elementary schools, you get more houses in there. I do believe that our community needs to consider widening the Sycamore Street as well as Reeves Road to accommodate the new traffic, not necessarily just because of the schools, because of the new homes coming in that area. So, thank you.
Can I ask Mr. Rieger to come up and address how they'll prevent vehicles from going around to the back of the building? You were shaking your head yes when Kevin mentioned it. So.
Sure. What we're proposing is a gate right at the back of the utility yard. Well, okay. Which one can I? There's a utility yard back here that serves the building. So right where the interface, where the stippling is onto that driveway, a little bit further north, there's a gate. You can kind of see it on the plan. So we'll have a padlock on it so the chief can get in when need be. And then it's secured so no one else is driving back there. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome.
And there is two in and outs to this parking lot, right? Ingress, egress, or?
There's just the one driveway that comes off of Reeves that went to the addition. That's our main way in to the parking lot, so it circles around and come back out.
So they'll travel around and go
Let's see,
back
maybe.
out.
Yeah, this is existing that feeds the addition to the primary school. So you'll have a drive that goes circles around the parking lot.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I mean, there's no way of opening it up down further on Reeves?
Further south here? Wait, I mean, it goes way down the tree line. You know where that tree line is?
Right.
That splits the two fields? So, no, we didn't think about widening the whole driveway all the way down.
I'd say widen it or adding like a second.
So this is the kind of a view of it. Not too good, but.
Yeah, I wish I went further out to show you where it does tie in. Maybe you're looking at Google Maps
Yeah,
or
I am.
something.
I'm looking on the Google. It just, to me, of course, it's hard to tell where the property line is though here. I guess where that house is.
Well,
And-
yeah, the school owns all the land, you know, the whole farm all the way to the west.
There's a,
Yeah, this shows it. So we're up above the tree line. So there's the tree line right here. And the addition, really we're sitting right about, well, I guess this whole thing, right in here. So we come in and this, unfortunately, at the time this was flowing, they didn't have the building addition on the primary complete.
But you own all the way up to Reeves, right?
Yeah, all Reeves and Dr. Sanders can correct me if I'm wrong, but it goes all the way west too yet, by where that house is. Don't you guys own the farmhouse? Yeah.
My thought was just on the other side of that, is that a retention pond there? Or whatever that is?
This is that farm pond.
Okay.
Yeah.
My thought was just, come into where you're coming in, but maybe on the other edge of the parking lot, have an exit out on Reeves, and it may, I don't know if it would alleviate anything, but you could have one way in and one way out.
Almost like where that access road curves.
If it was to actually come straight down.
And come down.
Straight down, and then come out there.
Yeah, we'd have to come, well, actually, we've got detention. Our detention basin is here, so everything drains down to this basin, but then it overflows and flows out. I mean, there may be a way to put a road in. I think right now, though, I don't think there's gonna be that much traffic flowing through constantly, because parents will come in, they stop, and then they've gotta drop the kids off. Then they'll pick them up and drive out. So, it's not like the regular school where you've got buses lined up, or you've got parents, stacking up, waiting for the kids to get out of school and then releasing. This is a little bit different setup, so the parents actually have to come into the school to take the kids out and bring them to their car individually.
And Dr. Sanders said they won't be arriving at the same time, it'll be different time.
Yeah, that's another difference is that they will not be waiting on the road to get into the parking lot. They'll be coming in, they'll have to take their kids into the school because of their age, and then the same way picking them up. So I really don't know that would be necessary to do, but I appreciate your comments.
Yeah, to me, just coming in and exiting the same area, I don't know. I mean, because if you exit out that way, then they're going to go that way and stop it anyway, so.
Well, and we got to keep in mind that the school has to make this work for them. If it doesn't work, then they're going to have to build another drive. I mean, it's not something they're not going to have to fix if it does end up as a problem.
Well, I was just thinking too, for Kevin, if you lined it up with your temporary, you could just come in that way and not have to run through the parking lot there. It's just a thought. I mean, I'm sure you guys have looked at it. How hard is it to get your truck in through all this parking lot and everything?
We provide we provide the turning radiuses, links, all of the statistical information to the architect, and it's all built into there. It's pretty normal. So the turning radiuses will take care of it, no issues.
What about the drop-offs and stuff? If there's cars pulled along that curb, is that going to hinder anything, or did they account
Sure, I
for
mean,
that?
you've always got somebody that doesn't pull up to the parking block or something.
Right.
And it sounds bad, but should we have to get in there, we will get in there.
Have you seen the pictures of New York where they bust the windows out of the cars and run the hoses through?
All right, it's just a thought.
I did want to elaborate a little bit because this access road that's on your screen now, a big chunk of it will basically be demoed when they do expand later. And Dr. Sanders did express that they will put a access road around the school complex as soon as that next section's built. So we're fine with this as a temporary, and then when the next project goes on, then a complete access around the school will be built at that time, and that's acceptable to us.
Okay, any more questions? Did I already ask for a public comment? It's been so long I forgot. Okay, public comment on this petition. Seeing none, we're ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve PC 2407 in its entirety.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
David Drake.
Yes?
Dan Swafford.
Yes.
Steve Hale.
Yes.
Pamela Samples.
Yes.
Brian Skaggs. Yes.
Motion carries. The next item on our agenda is Planning Department update.
Next meeting's April 4th, and I will have new business.
You will have what?
New business.
Oh, okay. Thought you said mind your business.
It's almost eclipse time.
And that's all I have.
Next item is privilege of the floor. Is there anyone who wants to address us on something that wasn't covered on our agenda? Seeing none. Any plan commission comments? Nope, seeing none. We're adjourned.